Welcome to another random All Things Blues and Southern Rock quick hitter, random quick hitter video segment for the Facebook page. Jason's going to tell you who was with us.
Absolutely. Hey, it is our pleasure to introduce on the show for this quick hitter tonight from the band Fortune Child. We have Melanie Jo and Buddy Crump from Fortune Child. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, doing good, man. How about y'all?
Good. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
So if you can just give us like a quick rundown of how the band came together, and then you went through a name change, and then we'll get to the single after that.
Yeah. Well, basically, we befriended each other because he was a guitar player on Facebook, and then we set up a jam, and we were like, well, let's find a singer, and so then we found Christian, and then after we found Christian, he had a bass player from his old band that we used, and so that's how and immediately, well, me and him, we had written maybe some songs. They didn't have lyrics or the vocals yet, but we would basically get in a room and chart some stuff out, basically guitar riffs and then the drums, and we would structure it like the song Far. We kind of did that.
Yeah, we had, like I've always been like a blues player, so like starting out, I was like, man, should I really kind of that blues route and really kind of, like I could be like an independent blues player and do that kind of thing, or by the time I met Melanie, it was like, man, I think we should just try like a 4-piece kind of very much like a free, Zeppelin kind of rock and roll thing. It's like classic rock revival, and I'm Southern, so there's a lot of Southern, guitar licks in there and stuff. So it's really cool how it's kind of like a super group, because once we find Christian on the vocals, his vocals are just so very like warm and husky sounding, kind of like a John Kay from Steppenwolf, and he's a great writer. And John came in, the bass player, John, and man, he's just a musical geek, so it really completes the circle. So, we got a band and we charted some stuff out, we had some arrangements, and we got them real tight, and showed them to Christian and John, and man, they pick it up and we all write together.
Yep.
And, album, it took us about 5 days to record the first album.
Yep.
And so we got a single now called Far. And we're still learning, we're trying to get some shows and stuff, but we're just, we're really brand new, so we're just, we keep rehearsing. And
you guys are so popular, people just ring the phone off the hook, man.
So then, go ahead.
Yeah. God, yeah.
It's spam too, which makes it funnier.
Spam calls.
Well, you should answer it on the air and say, hey, put it on speakerphone, see what's going on. We can talk to them.
Too funny.
Yeah.
Spam.
But as far as how the band kind of came together, we just kind of we all kind of had our individual ideas, and I wanted a 4-piece really because of we were, like influenced by the band Free, like Skinner.
Right on.
Yeah, man.
Skinner was really influenced by band Free, and there's a lot of great kind of Southern rock stuff going on in Jax, but we wanted to be, a little bit different. And so we're like, let's try this 4-piece and let's see what we can kind of make of it. And I'll be damned if it didn't really, it just came together,
Yeah, the songwriting was actually pretty fast.
Really, I've never been a part of something. This is my first original band, so this is kind of really just very fast and very nice and tight, nice rhythm section. Everything is just really going great, so.
You've always been, this is your first original, but then
yeah,
like me, I've always been the hired gun for something.
Yeah, she's been a hired gun, and she got hired.
It's kind of like my first.
Yeah,
original.
she was hired with Billy Gibbons actually hired her to do it. She could probably tell you about that.
Yeah, so Billy was searching for drummers on YouTube, and then he spotted my video, and then that day his musical director sent me a message on Facebook, and then within an hour I was talking to Billy.
Wow.
Wow.
And Yeah, and then we just set up a meeting. I didn't have to audition or nothing. He's like, okay. And then we looked for costumes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, what kind of video was it? Were you drumming to a song? What were you doing?
On YouTube, I just did just a drum solo. That's all it was. And it was like, and then he did, yeah, that's how that came about.
Didn't he come here? He pulled up in like a black SUV. Didn't he come here? And
I forget what kind of car.
And took her to the airport and just showed up.
Not the airport, to the costume factory.
But he showed up here.
Well, not here, Los Angeles.
Los Angeles, yeah. But and he picked it up.
Yep.
And
so were you in Los Angeles when all this came down first with Gibbons?
Yeah, so I was living in Los Angeles, and and then he was looking for drummers, and that's how yeah, so all of that stuff was Los Angeles, but my parents live here in Jacksonville.
Okay.
So basically when the pandemic happened, LA shut down, and then I've been kind of here.
Yeah.
And then we've been writing.
Yeah. Around that time, COVID was really hitting, LA pretty hard and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of stuff shut down, but Florida, the Southeast was kind of still open. So, and I've been here. I was born and raised here, actually in Orange Park. And, Skinner really was the big influence for me growing up. A lot of Southern good music, Dwayne Allman.
Yeah, Almonds, yep.
Anyone you can name, actually, Wet Willie, a lot of rock kind of, and so when I met her, she could do it all, she could really play and just tight. She's a musical drummer, and so with me, bouncing stuff off of her, and then we would, I was like, man, we just really got to get a really good band together. Yeah. And I think people, would enjoy.
Well, that's kind of how the songs came about so fast, because me and you would just be in our little shed room.
Yeah, we got a little rehearsal space, and we just really
and pop out songs and structure them out with the drums. And
me and my dad built this kind of it's like a studio thing with a bathroom and stuff, just so we could rehearse. Just so we could rehearse and really get tight.
Hey,
really, we could shed everything in there and just don't worry about anything. Kind of like Skinner did with the Hell House, and we could just go in there.
Right on, yeah.
Work and work and work and work and just really kind of get tight with some ideas and play some good music, so it's just we're still working at it,
usually every rehearsal we pop out a new song.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow, impressive.
So Melanie, did you go? It was Billy Gibbons the last person you played with before this came about?
No, I think the last person I if we want to talk fame, like I would play all in LA with lots of different bands and stuff, but I guess you would say bigger name would be Slash.
Okay.
Oh wow, you played with Slash?
Yeah. It was Slash, Nancy Wilson, and then Robert Randolph.
Oh
wow.
Nancy Wilson and Robert Randolph and Slash. Meh.
Holy crap. Is there like
she said that so casually, Brian.
Is there video of that somewhere or audio?
I may have posted one. I have several unposted, but I think there was one that Nancy did, but some with the copyright got taken down. But I believe the final song, the very end of Black Dog, it was Slash, Nancy, and then Robert Randolph were on it. It's the very end of the song, and everyone's kind of soloing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was for like a good benefit.
That was for, so every year I think Slash does this thing for like the LA Zoo to benefit the animals, and
cool. Yeah. Very cool. So let's get to the single. Just let's talk about that song. Was that something you guys worked on first? How did that become the single? And let's talk about how that song came together.
Oh yeah. So the single called Far, that was the same thing. Like I had a riff. That riff, as far as the meat and potatoes of the song, the rhythm guitar was heavily inspired by Alan Collins, and so it's got a really nice, tight, melodic rhythm section, and so her and I were jamming one night, and I came around with this thing, and I started kind of grooving a little bit, and I said, hey, can you put something over this? and we started, so we had an intro, we had a verse, like next thing you know, the chorus came around, and the other guys came in, and Christian really did a great job of incorporating a good melodic.
Because we almost had it written as almost more like a grunge sounding thing.
It was,
Really?
and yeah, so it's kind of like the
structure we had was the same, but we put like a weird.
Even the breakdown there towards the end, like, cause you got a little bit of a breakdown.
Yeah.
Why did we? I think that was because that's how we wanted to do it live,
Well,
and then we just kind of stayed. We were going to change it for the album, but
well,
then we said, we'll just keep it like it is.
See, the idea behind that whole arrangement there was the other guys in the band are so good at just bringing in fresh ideas. Like Christian had a really good melodic, almost modern kind of pop vocal melody over the top of this rock and roll kind of, Southern kind of grungy, really kind of Skinner rhythm section underneath. And then by the time the midsection comes in, that was influenced by Zeppelin. That
Yeah, for sure. That's what I thought listening to that song. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So try to pull in as many influences as I can. And so we all kind of, and then the guitar solo, we recorded at Retrophonics in St. Augustine here. This guy named Jim DeVito is such a sweet guy, man. He's like a music guru, and he's got like all these just vintage. He's got like an old Neve console. He's got like vintage, just everything vintage, just nothing. I mean, there's not a speaker cable in there that's modern. I mean, it's just, and it sounds great. And so we went in there, and he really helped us. And by the time the midsection of the song came in, like we that's actually a space echo. And so we get this kind of David Gilmour kind of thing happening with a guitar solo, and then it comes back into the outro. And so there's a lot of cool influences going on in that song. It's a really good first single because it kind of showcases the variety of influences from the band, and it's just everyone kind of pulls their weight on that song. So that's our first one, and I think it's one of our best songs.
That's my favorite. The groove on it is
it's really upbeat. It's really nice, but there's a Gary Rossington influenced guitar section at the very end with the bends, on the outro. So
it came apart in the studio.
Yeah, so it's a really just like amalgamation of just all our favorite influences, and it's a great kind of modern Southern blues rock song, So that's kind of who we are, Yeah. So
for a very catchy single off this first album, and this album's coming out in March.
Yeah, March 1st, right?
And March 1st is the release date for the album. Yeah.
How many songs are going to be on it?
Yep.
And I think we're releasing 2 more singles.
Yeah, we got 2 more before March 1st, and there's one acoustic song on there. It's a nice ballad on there, so that's
the acoustic songs.
Got to have the ballad, man. You got to bring in the ladies.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We came in with this idea. I really wanted an acoustic one on there, and it wasn't even written yet. I mean, on the 5th day, I think, of doing the recordings, recordings were done in, I think, 3 days. We took 2 days to kind of clean them up a little bit.
Drums and bass were the first day, and then everything else was.
We came in with an idea. Jim said, "Hey, hey Jim."
Most songs were in one take. Drums and bass were one take.
Your rhythm section was one take. Rhythm guitars were one take. I had one overdub on that song far on the very end. The bends, the kind of Rossington kind of bend, and that was it for that song. And we came up with the acoustic one. It wasn't finished, and I really wanted to get it. So I said, "Hey Jim, there's this idea. You mind if we figure it out real quick?" He goes, "Yeah, man, I'm gonna go get a cup of coffee, and you guys go ahead and write it real quick." And so it was written in 10 minutes. We just do it on the album. So we're just just very there's no real gimmicks on there. It's just a very solid rock and roll album. So it's it's something fresh that I think people will dig, and we're just gonna keep doing it.
And we certainly do dig that. Before we wind up, I have to give you guys a compliment that you guys have. We know, you can say Fortune Child is a rock band, but at the same time, you can't necessarily pin it down to any specific subgenre within that, which is so cool. And those, there's some handful of bands, others that we've talked to that are like that. So that's really cool. And in just talking to you now, I'll have to listen more for the nuances of all those Southern influence, but it's very cool that just on that, I don't think you can be put into any specific category, which is a really good sign for any band.
Right. So we both a lot, even in FAR, I'm almost doing a Steve Gadd influence groove. It's not it's not a rock groove. It's more of there's a lot of ghost notes. It's not hi-hat. It's not doing just straight eighth notes. It's more of something that a Steve Gadd would do.
Yeah, there's a lot of different influences with these other musicians in the band besides me. I mean, they're Melanie is influenced by Steve Gadd, but drummer for Steely Dan. I mean, there's so many that we can pull that. That's kind of who we are, But as as far as the frame of the band, I'm a free guy, so I like the space between each member of the band. It doesn't matter what kind of song, it doesn't matter what kind of idea, just the nature of having a space between just one guitar, one set of drums, one singer, and a bass player. That really, kind of everyone kind of gets to really be heard, Yeah.
So Zeppelin did it, so it can't be bad.
No, I don't think it's a bad idea. But that's the name was changed. We were called Danger Bird at the start, but that was we had our producer Kevin Nelson. Yeah, Kevin Nelson came in and said, man, you guys gotta, because there's a couple Neil Young tribute bands.
Right. Yep. Yeah.
So we go, yeah. So we can come up with something a little bit better than that. So here we are.
Fortune Child, like it, dig it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much to you two, Melanie and Buddy from Fortune Child. We can't wait to get you guys on the full episode and go into really deep detail about all this stuff. So thank you so much for joining us for this All Things Blues and Southern Rock Quick Hitter.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.